Up, man? Doing pretty well. I'm trying to make sure I got my camera and everything on. Thank everyone for watching. We had a pretty big day. There we go. I
Hmm.
think I'm on screen now.
Yeah, you are.
Um, had a big day yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Um, right now, we kind of just shooting the shit. We would like to have a chill Sunday. What do you have on the agenda, JB? What do you have in store for us today?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to focus in on is uh, Florida. Isn't that a kind of a loaded thing? Um, I wanted to talk today about what's going on as far as unemployment in Florida. A lot of times, a lot of people have been seeing what's been going on with especially the GOP governors and what they have been doing as far as unemployment. There's a lot of people who they basically want, they basically don't want people to go unemployed um, because apparently you're you're not, I guess, you're not. I don't even know how to say it right now. My brain's just rattled. Um, they think that you're just making an excuse not to work, that you're lazy. And so, one of the things I want to do first is I want to say hello to anybody that's watching, and thank you for your support. Um,
Yeah, Holly. Holly is a friend of the show. There we go.
mhm.
I was trying to fix the
Yeah,
black bar, but I think we got that
yeah,
set up. I'm just playing around with the system. We're just getting started, guys. A
hmm,
chill weekend stream. I'm joining my friend JB today.
hmm,
Um, I feel like it's kind of good to have a conversation. I want to hear you guys' thoughts because we that's the conversation we have with Dora, and I want to dive into like you were talking about like Florida unemployment. I want to get some more information on that as well.
yeah,
But I want to get you guys thought in the chat as well, like on the conversation, any questions you guys have.
hmm,
We had so many questions in chat. We didn't get to all of them, so now would be a good time to kind of come back around if you guys have any other additional questions.
hmm,
Um, he said, I shared a stream in some discourse servers. Nice. Appreciate it.
hmm,
Radical leftist agenda. I guess I should tweet it out. But I'll find some stories. And if you guys have anything, because I always like to take stories that coming from my community, you can
hmm,
post it in chat and we can discuss that as well.
hmm,
Mostly going to be a chill stream where we can answer some questions and
yeah,
discuss some like breaking news of the day. But I talked about JB. I'm gonna let my timeline know that we live here.
yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I had planned this for today, is about the Florida unemployment benefits. Now, if anybody knows anything about Florida, Florida is a interesting state where they really don't like workers at all. And so, because they don't like workers, um, they try to make it so that, um, in a sense, you kind of suffer, even when you're trying to make your life just a little bit better. This is from Spectrum News 13, and is Florida unemployment benefits changes explained. Um, so one of the things I wanted to focus especially on is what is considered valid work, because they basically saying that if you see any if you are offered any valid work, quotation air quotes, then you're supposed to take the job, even though the compensation for that employment is significantly less than what you are getting through unemployment. Um, and let me see here. I just wanted to make sure that, let me see. says turning down a job. Okay. Um, for those people, most who are earning benefits that calculate below a minimum wage, so many minimum wage job offers would likely be considered viable by the Department of Economic. Uh, I forgot the name of it. The DEO. Let me see here. It says turning down a job offer can put a claimant at risk for losing benefits. So basically, what this is saying is that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So if you are collecting unemployment, and the unemployment, let's say for right now, is the equivalent of $15 an hour. Um, Florida's minimum wage is around 850. So they basically want you to take a pay cut of 50% if the job that is offered to you is paying 850 an hour. So they want you to suffer just for the sake of business owners not wanting to pay a living wage. And so one of these things that you see here is one of the reasons why if you're someone who makes less than $15 an hour and you're on unemployment and you are staying on unemployment because your livelihood has been better because it's closer to what a living wage is, good. Stay on it as long as you can. What I want people to realize is that, and a lot of times we end up talking about a uh, a mutual aid that can lead to a general strike. People don't realize that we literally have a mutual aid program going on right now that is federally funded. And if you can see right now what's going on in pretty much throughout the country, that now is forcing employers to raise their rates so that they can pay closer to a living wage. Case in point, Mears, the company that uses taxis and buses here in Orlando, they just posted a huge banner. I should have took a picture of it when I had a chance. A huge banner that they are now starting bus drivers at 18.50 an hour. Just a couple of years ago, they were only paying like 12 or 13. So now they're starting at 18.50 an hour to drive buses for Mears. That's progress. And that progress is only being implemented simply because people are saying, no, you're not going to screw us over by making us, you know, make starvation wages anymore. And so it's kind of like you remember uh, the Wall Street bets, how they kept holding out, and the longer they held out, the better it was for them. Instead of selling, they just kept holding out. It's the same thing. You hold out, and then the companies get desperate because you're speaking their language. And what's their language? Money, money, money. So guess what? If you guys want more, and if you're willing to hold out and say, you know what? No, you got this is basically collective bargaining, from a level of the unemployed, saying we won't work for you unless you give us what we need. And so, to anybody that's still holding out, thank you, because now you're making and forcing these companies to raise their rates. In fact, the same company that transports me to dialysis, there was a memo that was put out. Okay, so this is to access Links, part of Link's transportation system here in Orlando. They are going to be raising their rates to $15 an hour for starting drivers, and their drivers that have been with them, they are also all going to get a $3 an hour bump up because apparently workers don't want to work. No, it's workers don't want to receive shit wages. And so therefore, if you guys want workers, you're going to have to raise the compensation so that people can make a living. So this is one of the things that I'm actually happy about. So when you have people who are able to hold out, like what mutual aid facilitates, then it breeds good results. So
And
all of, go ahead, please.
it mentioned it's because you this doesn't surprise me when it comes to like Florida and like their mindset and when it comes to treating unemployment
Hmm.
and what you just laid out here for the last few minutes here is trickle down economics in a nutshell.
Yep.
I want people to understand that trickle down economics is class war that's been waged on the working class that affects the disenfranchised communities like people, Black Americans, Latino Americans, indigenous people as well. And this from the Business Insider: 23 Republican governors refusing to extend pandemic unemployment, and this shows the intellectual dishonesty of capitalism, doesn't it? Because what's the philosophy they've been pushing for the last 40 years? Trickle-down economic advocates, they claim that programs like TANF, unemployment,
Hmm.
welfare, they make people rely on the government. And once you rely on the government, you'd be less likely to participate in the economy. Um, there was economists from the University of Chicago and Yale that they found last year that like the additional $600 settlements wasn't stopping people from looking for work.
Hmm.
This is something that does not stop people from looking for work. That's why there have been businesses that opened up that was starting from 15, 17, 18 bucks an hour that filled their job positions like that. And they had a rush of people that applied for those jobs, people who actually paid a living wage.
Hmm.
So their idea was, okay, if in order for you to actually have a job that actually of worth, your labor must have value. That's what capitalists preach. That's how they justify stealing your surplus labor value. They steal your surplus labor value because, like, oh, we can find someone that can replace you. Meanwhile,
Hmm.
businesses are closing because they can't hire people at the minimum wage. They can't hire people at 10 bucks an hour, 12 bucks an hour. What does that tell you? That means you got to have at least 15 bucks an hour to start out, but they can't do it. So that's alone disproved their philosophy. Because if labor value increases based on how the demand for the work, that means these jobs should be paying 20, 23 bucks an hour.
Yep.
And they should be able to pay that and they be able to stay afloat. But once again, it's just no evidence that capitalism is inherently a flawed system. And that's that labor shortage like dynamic is something that like the right wing and not even him, knowing them, like I want you guys to understand that Biden also complicit with this as well. I mean, he put trickle down economics where he had a speech that he gave when he was vice president under Barack Obama, and he said he was speaking with Mitch McConnell. He said one of the things that we agree to, and one thing we agree on, despite all our bipartisan battles, quote unquote, is keeping the Bush tax cut permanent,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Why they do that? Because they believe that if you cut taxes for the rich, if you take the economic approach, you can stimulate the economy. But we all know that's not the case because you have billionaires that are making record profits throughout the course of this pandemic, even though workers are losing wealth and quality of life is dropping. It's a
Hmm.
giant fraud, and we're going to continue to see this transfer of wealth. This year is like because the pandemic was a historic transfer of wealth, but we're gonna continue to see it to a point where it's not sustainable anymore. And when the left advocate for policies we are advocating for,
Hmm.
like the wealth tax, for example, Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, these are like honestly the starting point, and these are like the bare minimum. That's why I
Hmm.
find unacceptable that Biden can't even do these because if you're a rich capitalist, this is not sustainable. So you should be wanting these things to happen so people don't pull out the guillotines again,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You know, you said pull out the guillotine again.
No, that was
I
that
just
isn't that what FDR said?
yeah, oh yeah.
FDR was like, "Yo, I'm not doing this kind of like y'all. I'm doing this because the poor people gonna kill y'all soon." Like during the Great Depression, they were like, "Y'all gonna get killed if y'all don't do something for workers."
Hmm.
Like
Oh yeah.
I'm rich too. I feel what you guys are doing. They gotta push me.
Hmm.
Like people think FDR was doing everything he did out of the kindness of his hearts, and this is what people who apologize for Bernie Sanders and LC in
Hmm.
the squad they don't understand
Hmm.
because FDR, he got everything, he got what he's got done because he had a strong socialist movement. He had strong outside forces that was like, bro, if you don't get this done, you're gonna be our number one enemy. You don't get stuff done by going to the politicians like, oh my God, can you
Mm-mm.
please fight for me? I mean, I will still donate for you. I will still vote for you. I will still support you
Hmm.
and defend you. But can you please fight and put your comfort of your life and your status and your privilege on the line to get actual benefit for workers? That doesn't work. They'll just tell you to F off. They know what you're doing. Trust the plan. That what just Democrats have been saying. Trust the plan.
Hmm. Please does not work when it comes to fighting your oppressors. They do not. Um, they do not accept or use the word please. What was it? I forget his name. I can't believe I'm having a mental blank. But he said that um, when it comes to wow, I just ran a mental blank on one of the most prolific black people in history, and I'm embarrassed. But he said that you have to basically fight for what you want because it's never going to be given to you. And so um, I wanted to give some attention to what one of our viewers has said.
you
Is it
you the one you interviewed Kashama, right? Am I saying her name right?
Shama? The K is silent.
Shama. Okay,
Yeah.
I never actually had to say it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, but there was a comment that said that your interview with her was really good. So,
Oh,
but
thank you,
go ahead.
thank you.
We got some pretty good comments in here, but we can keep going and we just try to get some questions. Like I said,
Cool.
this is gonna be just a chill Sunday live, maybe
Yeah.
about an hour or so.
Hmm.
Just kind of engage with the fans because we had a pretty big weekend. But go
Hmm.
ahead, JB. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
But Holly Horn said before him, Reagan was welfare queens, but Clinton was able to do it because Reagan couldn't get away with it. And I, I'm not. I'm in my 30s, and so I kind of remember when Clinton first came on the scene. Clinton was a disguise for black people. So you had Clinton coming on with the shades on Arsenio Hall, playing the saxophone, right? And you had Arsenio Hall clapping it up for him, and you had this guy saying, "I understand your pain." You had that, and so black people thought, "Oh snap, we got somebody who actually kind of understands us." And then you had all the comedians talking about, "Oh, Bill Clinton was actually the first black president that we ever had." And so
Dude,
even
I still
that,
remember that.
yeah,
Dude, that's
even
so
that was
crazy.
propaganda. That was
That's so.
propaganda. Even some of your comedians were saying were spouting propaganda.
And apparently, that came from when he was on Arsenio Hall show and he played the saxophone. So
Yeah,
they was like, "Oh, well, I guess he's a brother now." Like this
yeah,
is why I hate black liberals and the black congressional caucus because they was pushing
yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
Bill Clinton was like one of the most anti-black politicians in the modern era, just like Joe Biden. He
Hmm.
gutted welfare reform. He did
Yep.
regulate Wall Street that allowed them to just close our homes. He literally got the crime bill done. like,
Hmm. He
like
signed
what?
it in the
Yeah.
law. Yeah.
But then there was the myth that like, yo, Bill Clinton's actually first black president. Dude, they played the black community so much. It's so
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Because I literally still remember that.
Oh
I still
yeah.
remember that was a thing.
Hmm. Yeah. So um, and then you see how black people were pursued against by law enforcement. They weren't even really they were enforcing these unethical laws against black people just for the prison industrial complex. And so, you know, Bill Clinton was an enemy in disguise. He was, Bill Clinton was he was kind of like a person that came to your fort and was like, "I bring glad tidings. I'm here to help." And then, we got to a point where we're like, "Okay, no, no, we're not going to fall for that again." But then they were like, "Okay, we got to get smarter." So they were like, "Yes, let's use a Trojan horse." So they got Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the Trojan horse. He looks just like them. He sounds just like them. His hair is just like them. Oh, make sure you take that picture of that little boy touching his hair to let them know that, oh, he's just like everybody else. And then guess what? Oh, he also has a black wife. Oh, yeah, there you go. He had a black wife too. So he's definitely down with the brothers and sisters. And so then guess what? He came in. And then everybody saw he's taking a lot of people from Wall Street in this cabinet. Shouldn't we be concerned about that? MSNBC is like, yeah, no, 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 no. He's good. He's good. Don't worry. He's cool. But then you got people like Dr. Cornel West trying to sound the alarm. They're like, shh, 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 shh. Don't say anything. Don't say anything, Cornell. Shut up. Shut up. Because if you say anything, then you guys aren't going to get your black guy. And then guess what? We got the black guy. But it wouldn't end up happening. And it's the one thing that Nick always says, which I appreciate because it's one of the biggest truths that people need to realize. Black wealth tanked under Obama. Black Lives Matter came into fruition because when Obama was in office. So just because you see a black face in a high place, it doesn't mean anything because there was also black slave catchers back in the day too. Just remember. And they were on the horses and they were helping the white slave masters catch slaves. So if you're sitting here praising Obama for all this stuff he did, what did he do for black people? Don't give me no bullshit about him putting, making the black family look respectable or whatever. All right. The only way you make a black family look respectable is by helping them with their economic rights. And he has done none of that. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I had my mic muted, but
It's okay.
that's exactly yeah. Because I'm trying to, because I know people are like, all right, you need to stop typing when you're on stream. So I try to keep my
Oh
stream.
yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
what you said is on point because people, it never makes sense to me. People
Mhm.
look at me weird because I don't like Barack Obama because he was a war criminal who tanked
Mhm.
black wealth, who sided with Wall Street over us, who was a deporter in chief, who ended up. You guys know, like there's all this talk about Trump being racist against Latinos, which I think he is, to be
Mhm.
fair.
Mhm.
But Obama in his first term deported more people than Donald Trump did. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
when the numbers were released. So this is why I stand against him. And people are like, why you don't like him? I don't like him because he's black.
Yeah.
Like what? Like because he turned against our community. Like that's the reason why we should dislike him more. Because we sent him in thinking he was going to do something, but he did not, and he got rewarded for a mansion in Martha Vineyard. And then he come out with the excuse tour because he's starting to realize that the corporate media can't protect his record that much longer, and people are starting to realize what he's been doing. So
Mhm.
now people are like, hey, now we think about it. What the hell was you? What the hell was you when police were shooting black men?
Mhm.
Oh, you said that the protesters in Baltimore and Ferguson was thugs? The same thing the Republicans say?
Mhm.
So he's like, and then he came out recently like, oh. So the thing is, there was institutional restraints. I couldn't say I wanted to say something, but I couldn't because I was president and I couldn't speak out when there were legal processes going on. We, after watching 4 years of Donald Trump, knows that is BS. Did Trump hold back on his political rhetoric because of institutional restraints? No, Trump, he drove the political narrative despite what the corporate media was talking about at any given time. And Barack Obama easily could have did that for Black America. If he actually cared, he wouldn't be in, but if he actually cared, He could easily be like, "Yo, I don't care if y'all get mad at me. I'm gonna speak about the fact that the police are killing Black Americans. I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to decrease the military budget. I'm being blocked by the Pentagon. I'm trying, God. These name call him out by name. What's stopping them? What's stopping the president for doing that? Like, there's a story that came out recently how Donald Trump wanted to pull out of Afghanistan, and I know he wasn't really serious about this because he couldn't have made it happen. But they were like Pentagon stalled him. They was blocking them, and I'm like, bro, if you really wanted to do it, you could have got it done. You could, especially Trump with his code, bro. What was stopping Trump from? So people were using that to try to make Trump look good. And I'm like, hell, that doesn't make Trump look good. Like they were like, oh, see, Trump, he tried to end the wars, but the deep state wouldn't let him. Like, bro, you think Donald Trump, with his massive following, couldn't get on Twitter and name these people out by name and then force them to comply and make this a giant thing? He didn't make a big deal out of it. He made a big deal out of this election being stolen from him, but he didn't make a big deal about ending the wars. The same thing applies to Barack Obama when it comes to he's like, oh yeah, I think we should have an increased minimum wage, but what do you do to fight for it? So when it came to stopping Bernie Sanders in his campaign, Barack Obama famously made a few phone calls to get people to drop out and endorse Joe Biden in order to stop Bernie Sanders. But when people don't have health care in the middle of a pandemic and people are not making a living wage, Barack Obama can't make a few phone calls to force Democratic senators to sign with the increased minimum wage and a public option. He can't make a phone call to Joe Biden like, bro, Joe Biden, you promised you would cancel student loan debt. You say you would halt deportations.
Mm-hmm.
You say you increase. You say you increase the wage. You say you would do these things. Like
Yep.
if he cared, that's what he would do, but he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. I just want to thank Norman Coner. Yes, that's what I was referring to. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, and I want to read the quote directly because this is what the left is about. Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found out the exact measure of injustice and wrong in which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue till they are resisted with either words or blows or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress." Basically, how you let them treat you is how they will treat you. That's basically what Frederick Douglass was saying. And this is one of the reasons why us halting everything and saying, you know what? No, we're not going to allow you guys to keep screwing us over, especially when it comes to a living wage. That's what happens. So
There's a
power
comment
concedes nothing
here.
without a demand.
Well said, JB. Sorry. There's a comment here that said Clinton also left his campaign to execute a mentally disabled black man. Just the height of evil there. There's another question here. I've seen we got some new viewers here.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the people who watch our Jimmy Dore interview who decide
Mm-hmm.
to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we grow, and that's why like people can talk about stuff they want about Jimmy Dore, but at least Jimmy Dore is willing to amplify and platform black leftists instead of inviting popular white streamers to talk about black issues for clicks. That's a problem. But Jimmy Dore, he had Justin Jackson on his show. This is what he does. So we appreciate him for doing that. So there are a lot of newer viewers watching. So I can tell this is a newer viewer. Did not no disrespect, but he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Are Nick and James affiliated with any particular political party?" Let's get this new audience an introduction to who we are. James, or is there any political party?
Hell
Any
no.
political party
Hell
that you
no.
like? Come on, man. You don't like the
No. Well,
Republicans,
okay.
the Democrats? Come on, Joe Biden.
Okay.
He's a caring guy. Uncle Joe, man. Uncle Joe.
You don't you just love him when you see him wearing those aviator glasses, licking that ice cream off the cone? Isn't he just a good old grandpa?
You see Kamala Harris wearing Air Force Ones with her
Oh my
Timberlands?
God. And
Slay
she was wearing
Queen.
a pair of Chucks too. Oh,
Bro, they went to that
Kamala
meeting. They
Harris.
increased the military budgets, but she was looking fly, bro. She had them Timberlands
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
It was bombing.
And don't forget Trump with that swooped haircut. Oh, doesn't he look so powerful and strong?
I
Right?
see. This is like the best. This is honestly the best partisan impression I have
Yeah,
because like it doesn't make sense to me.
yeah,
Like you guys are worshiping millionaires who became rich as public servants using your taxpayer money,
yeah,
and you like these people?
yeah,
What?
yeah. Like the Democrats and Republicans are number one, the same party. They are the same group. So, yeah, I don't subscribe to that party. Um, the only parties that can even come close is probably the Green Party or maybe the Socialist Party. That's probably it. But as far as the party affiliations, I'm an indie. I'm an independent. I'm an independent and I'm a socialist. So that is what I am. Nick, what are you?
The concept of political parties at this point makes my skin crawl. Let me
Hmm.
see if I can find it. I made a tweet that went viral. It shouldn't take
Hmm.
that long.
Hmm.
I said that we are surrounded by two political parties masquerading as cults because that's what it is. Because during the Trump event, there we go. I found it. So I'm gonna share screen it because
Okay.
this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about, and this is why partisanship makes my skin crawl because it's literally cult-like mentality, cult-like behavior, and this is
Hmm.
why the two-party system benefits the ruling class because the ruling class can do whatever they want. They can be war criminals, they can be rapists, they can be white-collar criminals, they can do stuff like
Hmm.
execute mentally disabled men like Bill Clinton did, as we discussed earlier.
Hmm.
But people will feel compelled to defend them because they got to help their team win.
Hmm.
And for some reason, this game that people play, this game,
Hmm.
they always try to, people always want to one up each other.
Yep.
People always got to be like the best at the game. You got to be the best Republican operative. You got to be the best Democratic Party operative.
Yep.
Can you see this, James?
Yes.
This was going on Twitter.
Hmm.
Look, just to show you guys are no different because I laughed at Trump and his supporters. Trump and his supporters, I had no respect for them
Okay.
intellectually, morally. Like you guys are just a cult. But if you guys think the Democratic Party is any different, you guys are out of your mind because this is a Trump supporter, and this was starting around the time when Trump had his like sexual assault allegations, and
Hmm.
he had to take away like you just grab women by the pussy, that
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
This is a Trump supporter. She's like, yeah, Trump can grab my pussy. You guys can
Hmm.
see that there.
Hmm.
And then
Oh.
look at this one.
Hmm.
And this is, if you think Trump is crazy, this is coming from the liberal mind. This
Hmm.
lady says, the only white man who can tell me what to do with my body is Joe Biden.
Hmm.
Yuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yuck. So, meanwhile, you had like Biden who, go ahead, JB.
I just want to address Jean. She said I didn't assume either you were Democrats or Republican. I'm independent and work with the with Fuente um, Amplia. I'm sorry, I didn't want to mess up that name. A communist party. That's cool. And the thing is, we're not working on your assumption. We're actually attacking anybody who we're not necessarily attacking, but we're kind of clowning on people
Yeah,
who
that was more us.
may
That
be
wasn't us
watching
mocking
later.
the question. It was us
Yeah,
mocking the idea that anyone
yeah,
would even be
yeah.
like, I'm a member of the Republican Party. I've been a Republican for 24 years. I've been
Hmm.
a lifelong Democrat. Look, like that is
Yeah,
so that's alien to me. Like
yeah,
it really is. That
yeah,
I like the question. That's why we read it. I wouldn't
yeah,
read it if I thought it was a bad question. So I think it was an important question, and
yeah.
that's
It
how
was
we
a good
feel. I think it's
question.
stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's just the idea of being
Hmm.
a partisan is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't make any
So thank
sense.
you, comrade. We appreciate the question.
I voted
Um,
Green Party two times. Like the only time I voted was in 2012 because I technically couldn't vote in 2008. I was a senior in high school and just barely missed the cutoff. And
mhm,
in 2012, even then, I was like, I heard Obama did some stuff. I wasn't that educated back then, but the veil was slowly starting to lift because of people like Cornel West.
mhm,
But that was the last time I ever felt for the lesser two evils. Because this is the funny thing, JB.
mhm,
This is the funny thing. I was like, yeah, Barack Obama is doing some things I don't like, but Mitt Romney, he is terrifying. Mitt Romney, this is how good the propaganda was. And you see, they replace it every 4 years. There's another one. Like
yep.
they doing Marjorie Taylor Greene now. She's the new one we're supposed to be scared of.
Mhm,
And Mitt Romney was the guy I was like, bro, he's like this. He's like this. It's extreme fundamentalist, trickle down economic
mhm,
pushing. Like I'm thinking, like my thought was he's gonna get in and he's gonna do the same war. He'll do the same thing that George Bush did, expand all
mhm,
the wars. But that was Barack Obama. I didn't know it back then. Like, I just
mhm,
knew something was up, but I didn't know. They're like, bro, if Mitt, the fucking thing, if Mitt Romney won, like I thought about this before. Maybe I was got too stoned, but like Mitt Romney won, we probably would have been in a better position to win 2016 with Bernie Sanders. Like things
Maybe.
probably would have been better because Mitt Romney supported Obamacare. That's
Mm-hmm.
Romney care.
Mm-hmm.
Obama and Mitt Romney was pretty similar on foreign policy.
Yep.
So I'm thinking like in the long run, and then we probably would have avoided Trump. Like this is what I was thinking as well. Like, bro, if Mitt Romney won, Trump wouldn't have like there wouldn't have been a Republican primary. So Trump would never happen. You had a Democratic field going against this like rich, like unapologetically rich guy who would implemented trickle down economics.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think Bernie Sanders would have been in a way better position in that situation than going against a Democratic Party who had at the time considered a massively successful Democratic incumbent president. So because Barack Obama at the time was a massively successful Democratic Party incumbent, that gave more credibility to the person who was his successor. And the person he made his successor in 2016 was Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. She was his Secretary of State, and he was like, she's the one. But if he lost to Mitt Romney, once again, this is all theoretical. So like this didn't happen. So it's just me just theorizing. So it's like if Barack Obama lost to Mitt Romney, that hurts his brand. That hurts the brand of the Clintons, and then the Democratic Party would have had a reset. And then Bernie Sanders, I think he will wipe that clean out. But all this it's just all hypothetical. What you guys thought? What you guys thought on that? Do you guys think that's unreasonable? Let's see what's some other comments. Any questions in here? Yeah. I want to hear you guys thoughts on that theory because it's not something to take too seriously because it just like Mitt Romney lost. So it's like that's just something I just thought about. Maybe I was stoned. I was thinking like, damn, if Mitt Romney beat Obama, we'd probably be in a way better position right now. We see.
Let me see.
Joe, yeah, that's a comment. That's what I always like. Keep repeating it. You guys know who watch my show. I repeated it multiple times because the corporate media and liberals don't know it and they don't repeat it. Joe Biden has deported more Haitians than Trump did his entire term, and that was before the first 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a liberal with Black Lives Matter in your profile, you should probably take that off. Mm-hmm. And you like Joe Biden. That's what you probably should do.
Yeah. Because I mean, where I live is a massive Haitian population, and the Haitian people here, they're doing the best that they can, under this, predatory capitalist system, and I need, I would like to talk to some more and ask them what's your opinions of Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure a lot of them would have some unsavory things to say about Joe Biden, especially since all the deportations of Haitians in this country, and so and those are some of the people who also need our support. We need to support the people who are Palestinians. We need to support people who are Haitian. We need to support the people who are Colombian, from Honduras and Nicaragua, because the thing is that the United States government loves to screw over these countries, especially ones in the global south. So
this is a good topic here from ABC. We can cover quickly. He said, how do you explain to some Black people who claim that just having more Black people in position of power is enough to change things? How can we get through to people with that ideology? I already see Jamie rolling his eyes. I sighed when I first saw it too. That's a great question, and this is a topic of the very first article I wrote. The very first article I wrote was embrace MLK, reject Barack Obama, because there's been a long-standing tradition of Black people who see that their path towards emancipation in the system is the pursuit of political power and joining the forces of oppression and subjugating those who are deemed lesser, including those of your own community. And that works. Barack Obama, once again, mentioned in Martha Vineyard, Kamala Harris is going to be set for life. Jim Clyburn lived a life of luxury ever since the Civil Rights era, right? So these things work. Even John Lewis himself voted for U.S. authorization to make Libya a slave state, but he's taken care of for that. So this is a long-standing tradition, and the quote that you guys just heard me say comes from W.B. Du Bois. He wrote in Socialism in the American Negro, and Dr. Cornel West actually stated himself that even W.B. Du Bois wasn't even a diehard leftist. Even he acknowledged the problem that we got black people who sell out our community.
Hmm.
So honestly, it's a very tough situation, but that's why we started Fred Hampton Leftists.
Hmm.
We started Fred Hampton Leftists because I said a while ago that it's unfortunate,
Hmm.
but because you have the liberals and you got corporate propaganda, it's
Hmm.
harder for a white leftist ally to criticize uh, black people of power. So black leftists, young black leftists, have to put it upon themselves to go after Barack Obama, go after Jim Clyburn. That's what I do with my channel and my content because I think that blows that whole narrative out of the water. Because I'm like these people, the black people in power, actually are complicit with selling us out to the prison state. Because this, I won't give your thoughts on this, JB. I'm gonna say one last thing because I remember
Hmm.
during the Bernie Sanders campaign, both of them, when he ran against Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, and whenever our movement attacked Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden for their support of the crime bill, the liberals said the same thing, and they said often, "Oh, you guys are just white privileged kids. You guys don't know what it was like to be black in the street in the '90s. Do you guys know that most black people supported the crime bill? No, that was false. There always were black activists fighting against the crime bill. It was the Black Congressional Caucus, the black bourgeoisie that was elected and donated to by the same prison industrial complex that helped them get elected that supported the crime bill, and then they was the one who sold it to our community as, oh, there's no other answer. We can't give you health care, we can't give you wages, we can't give you housing. We gotta lock y'all up. We gotta lock y'all niggas up. That's what they said pretty much. We gotta
Hmm.
lock y'all niggas up. Y'all gotta pull y'all pants up, stop listening to rap music, stop playing video games, or we got like that tough on crime stance that destroyed the
Hmm.
black community. That wasn't black activists pushing for that. It was the Black Congressional Caucus, and that's just a short summary of how we've been like sold out by black leaders. So
Hmm.
that mindset that black people in position of power helps us is actually
Hmm.
just like opposite.
Yeah.
They are used as tools to hurt us, just like
Hmm.
Kamala Harris. Like you guys know that Kamala Harris never prosecuted a cop in her entire career. She was celebrating when Derek Chauvin and she was using that political point. She's like, "Yeah, justice is done. Derek Chauvin was found guilty." And I had to remind people like, "Oh, it's very funny how that never happened during your very long prosecutor career. Very interesting how that works.
Hmm.
Now you want to pretend you're on our side,
Yeah.
even though you locking up black people for marijuana, locking up moms for kids because they didn't go to school on time. Like, you are insane." So now that they didn't do enough for our community, they actually hurt us, right, JB?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, the whole black faces in high places is nothing but a facade. It says here billionaire Robert F. Smith donates $50 million to assist STEM students at HBCUs. Robert F. Smith is the chairman and CEO of Vista Equity Partners. It is continuing his philanthropic support of historically black colleges and universities with $50 million donation to the Student Freedom Initiative. Let me tell you something. Robert F. Smith is a billionaire. Okay. How do you get your billions of dollars? Well, that means that you have to exploit people in order to make that much money. Just because he's black doesn't mean that it's a good thing. Now, he donated to people in colleges and HBCUs. While on the surface, that's very noble, right? But how many people can actually afford to go to an HBCU and even still get, uh, student loans? Or because they got student loans and they went in STEM fields, that's great and all. But what about the people who are still in the hood? What about them? What about the people who are still being shot by cops? See, here's what Robert Smith is doing. He's trying to create more people like him who also exploit. So, what about the people who want to make a living wage, who don't have a college education? What about them? So, this is some of the things that people don't ask, Or if people have to get their student loans canceled by a billionaire, that's in itself is a problem, isn't it? Why is it that you have to step in with your billions of dollars so that these young men at this HBCU. I think it was Morehouse. I think it was at Morehouse. It might have been Howard or Morehouse. But why do you have to step in to do this when we could just cancel all student debt like that and then make public colleges and universities tuition free? Why not? Why aren't you advocating for that? Oh, because you want to keep it the bourgeoisie. And is that fact is actually interesting. There is a video by a comrade. Her name on there is called Nappy Headed Jojoba, also known as T. Shout out to her. And she actually did a video on Black excellence and how Black excellence is just a facade to keep the capitalist system up by making Black capitalists. And what did Fred Hampton say? We're not going to attack capitalism by having Black capitalism. We're going to attack capitalism with socialism. Yes, that's how you do it. Because guess what? Those Black faces in high places, if guess what? If they're oppressing, what the hell does it matter what color their skin is? It doesn't matter at all. A Black oppressor is still an oppressor. A gay oppressor is still an oppressor. A non-binary, non-gender conforming oppressor is still an oppressor. A neurodivergent oppressor is still an oppressor. It doesn't matter. You have to change it from being an oppressor to somebody that helps liberate. But if you don't have that person, it doesn't matter what they look like or who they sleep with or how their brain works. So that's just something, so the whole like, oh, having more Black people in the upper echelons of society, as we call them, block people, BLAQUE, block, you know, they look down on us too. What's the difference? The only way you can make it so that they don't look down on us is you kind of take that lofty throne and push it down a few pegs. Make sure that they pay us a living wage. Make sure that we have healthcare just as good as theirs. Make sure that we're not getting sent out, by the military industrial complex to for-profit wars to take resources from people in other countries. I'm sick and tired of brown people seeing the US flag going to their country to extract resources from them and killing them for fighting against it. I'm sick and tired of it. And this is not just happening in the Middle East, it's happening in the global South and South America. This is also happening in different countries in Africa. And so, aren't you tired of it? I certainly am, because that's what solidarity is about, because we stand with them as well as everybody else who's oppressed.
Yep, absolutely. There's a good question I want to address, and
Please.
then I'll get your thoughts on it as well.
Hmm.
Another good comment by Gene. They said, I think I heard you say yesterday that Medicare for all is the priority. I agree, along with the destruction of our planet. My question is, what is the plan? I want you guys to realize, even if Bernie Sanders won,
Hmm.
fighting climate change would have been a very hard uphill battle.
Oh yeah.
But that was our foot in the door, our chance
Hmm.
to make it happen. Because I have a lot of criticism of Bernie Sanders, but there's a reason why I support that campaign.
Yeah.
Because I like what he said on the issue of climate change on an international level.
Hmm.
Yeah, he said instead of having a foreign policy where we bomb brown and Black kids and we invest a lot of resources into that,
Hmm.
Bernie Sanders, his administration, his foreign policy will be based on only addressing the climate crisis, like getting other countries to address and take that seriously and invest resources into doing that. And
Hmm.
then we will have to push him on that because I think Bernie really was earnest in doing that. But when Bernie got in charge, will he decrease the military budget the way the Green Party said we got to do, decrease it by at least 70% to even have a fighting chance? Because the military is the largest polluter in human history.
Yes, it
And Joe
is.
Biden and the Democratic Party pretends to support climate change, but Joe Biden just expanded the military budget even more to 758 billion.
Hmm.
So how can you say you fight for climate change? You put it for fracking. You put it for funding the military. You literally giving grants to giant corporations to drill offshore. Like these are things that making the climate crisis worse. So when Joe Biden go up in corporate news and he say the Democratic Party believe in science, no, you don't. So to answer your question, I'm sorry, there's not really a plan. So now you guys realize why I'm upset, and you guys realize I have the sense of urgency that I do. Whenever you see any other content creators, and I see a lot of them, they're like, "Well, it's okay, we can win in 2024." Even though they're not gonna be a primary Joe Biden, it's cool. We can win in 2028, 2032. All we gotta do is just keep donating to Justice Democrats, and we get more progressives in Congress in 30 years. Like, you guys realize that there's like over 200 seats, and we only got like 10 in 4 years. It took us 4 years to get 10 progressive politicians in charge.
If we just wish hard enough, if we just wish hard enough,
So people
if you
actually
can believe it, you can achieve it.
yeah, and we just pray to the politicians, they'll save us. That was some people really believe.
Yeah, just
people
pray to God. Just pray to God. And maybe, just maybe, in the 50 years where we're not going to have a habitable planet anymore, in the 40 years, we can finally start attacking climate change.
JV, you know what's funny? People was like, yo, we can fight. You gotta vote for Joe Biden because we can fight climate change because he had to get back into the Paris Climate Agreement. Dead serious.
That's so
Big
stupid.
channels.
Like, oh, we promised to do something. What is a promise going to get you anything?
You had giant, well-established journalists and YouTubers like, yo, Joe Biden getting to the Paris Climate Agreement. That's a great thing. You guys know the Paris Climate Accord was a joke. And then there's a reason why things didn't get better. Because, hey, by the way, in our Saudi segments, I looked into it and I was surprised that no one ever talked about this. Well, like, and they left this lane open for me. I talk about this on my channel. I'm like, really? Like, no one else would say this. Yeah. So you guys understand that under the Paris Climate Accord, only 25% of the countries were compliant. And out all the 5 biggest countries in the Paris Climate Agreement, only one of them was compliant. I don't remember which one. Please forgive me. But only one out of 5. It wasn't America. It wasn't America. It wasn't China. So only one out of 5. And the thing is, a lot of the smaller countries that was in the agreement, they couldn't be compliant. You guys know why? Because a big part of the Paris Climate Agreement was in order for smaller countries to reduce their carbon emissions, the 5 biggest countries and the most financially well-off countries will set up a financing system to overhaul their infrastructure. That financing system was never set up. So the entire premise of the Paris Climate Accord was always a joke. Because there's the countries that can't comply, they're not doing it because it's not a legally binding contract. They can just say, no, we're not doing it. And there's nothing that can stop you from holding them accountable. Secondly, so not only the big countries are not doing it, the big countries are not financing the small countries that need the technology in order to reduce carbon emissions. Meanwhile, you have people that literally were like, yo, Joe Biden said he's going to get back in the Paris Climate Accord. He's serious about fighting climate change. Like, bro, there's a reason why he did that step, but he's not doing the others. Because the Paris Climate Accord, in agreement, there's nothing that stopped the ruling class. There's nothing holding the ruling class accountable in that agreement. They just backed out of it. I just want to let people know that. Because so to answer your question, when it comes to climate, that's why we call for general strike. That it blows my mind that when me, CJ, Jackie, and all my friends call for a general strike, there are people on the left like, you guys are being unreasonable. Like, what? You acknowledge that there are 68,000 Americans that die each year because they don't have health care. You acknowledge that the climate crisis, we got to get to zero emission before 2030. It's already too late. And then they say it's already too late to stop the worst of what's going to happen. At this point, we got to mitigate damage. At this point. So it's like, what other option is there other than shutting shit down until we actually can, to our politicians actually propose a solution? They're like, oh, you can't do a general strike. You just got to trust the plan. AOC will save us. Bernie Sanders will save us. Joe Biden will save us. It's ridiculous. It's childish.
These are the same people that would have said, oh, you can't fight against slavery. That's just unreasonable. You guys can't do sit-ins at these diners, for your equal rights. That's just unreasonable. Trust the process. I'm sorry, but guess what? Every single time we tried to trust the process, nothing got done. Whatever happened when we didn't trust the process and we actually fought for it, shit got done. So you know what? I'm done with trusting the process. I'm done with it, and you should be done too. Because the whole notion that we just need to depend on politicians to get stuff done. Guess what? Not one significant change in progress in America has happened because of a politician. You had some that were sympathetic to it, but the change has always happened because of the people rising up. And to think that it's going to happen because of a politician is historically inaccurate. And the thing is that if you really want to get something done, then you get those feet out in the streets. That's the only way. And for people to say, oh, all we got to do is trust these politicians, they're standing in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't realize
Exactly.
that themselves, they're going to get lost in the dust in history, and they're going to be way behind. And then their kids are going to go, so what did you do? I trusted the process. Come on now.
See, I trusted the process. I mean,
I
what can I
trusted the
do?
process.
That's literally what they want us to do. They want us to, like
Yeah,
when we have complaints with our politicians not fine for it, they're like, shut up and trust the process. They really think that's a legitimate
that's what the
person.
billionaires tell us to do. Trust the process. Yeah, right. We're gonna actually go listen to the billionaires. Right.
That's why I said like we have two political cults masquerading at political as we had two cults masquerading at political parties.
Hmm.
Cause it was the same with Trump. Like Trump people like just believe in Trump. Like he came from
Hmm.
both sides.
Yeah.
We believe in Trump. Trump will save us. Like it's the same nonsense.
Hmm.
David, I think this is in reference because it was about 30 minutes ago. I'll just now get into some of these comments. He
Hmm.
said Trump could have signed an executive order. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming you're referring to when I was talking about him pulling out of the war. Yeah, Trump could have shut. Like he is the commander in chief. If Trump wanted those wars shut down, he would shut those wars down, or he would die trying. I say that because he probably would die. Like if
Oh.
the president
Oh yeah.
comes in
Oh
and
yeah.
try to just abolish the Pentagon and CIA, they get JFK. Because JFK talked about how the CIA was unaccountable and he looking to disband them, and then
Hmm.
he was killed.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
No. Yeah. Because them Joint Chiefs would have been like, oh no, we got to get rid of this guy. That's what had happened. So uh,
G,
what
I'm sorry.
happened?
G says, where do I find activists doing something about medical fraud? Oh, we talked about this with Jimmy Dore yesterday. The thing is, there was a lot of us that were trying to do something, but now the only thing you can really hope for is to expand Medicaid in your state because we had a lot of people that wanted to vote for Nancy Pelosi instead of fighting for Medicare for all. So to answer your question, the fight for Medicare for all has been put in the back burner for what, another 4 or 5 years? Because
Hmm.
there are some people that thought protecting AOC and her Democratic connection, her career, was more important than fighting for healthcare.
Hmm.
So unfortunately,
Yeah.
you can look in your local area, but the best you got is expanding Medicaid now.
Yep.
Both score another. I want to see what he said. I ain't read it beforehand. It says saying these goals are stupid or incompetent gives them too much credit. They know what they are doing and they want to do it. Yeah, I agree. Like the funny thing is, I go back and forth on this, and you
Hmm.
guys seen how I break this down. But this is my take on this.
Hmm.
The ruling class, they know how to play this game. They are not as naive as a lot of people think they are.
Oh yeah.
But the politician is a dumbass who is surrounded by a lot of smart people. So they told the dumbass politician what to say and what to do. But if you actually had a sit down conversation with George Bush Jr.
Hmm.
and you grill him on politics, do you really think he would like if a leftist was in a room with George Bush Jr., Donald Trump, Barack Obama, any big name that people consider to be smart, and a true leftist like us, Jimmy Dore, like Rome, JB, Jackie, Ron Bacone. I'm thinking about any guest you see on the show, Margaret Kimberly, anyone that you see on our network, sit down with a politician and grill them on the record. That politician will get flayed like a fish. That politician will stand no chance because they are protected by the media.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
even have press secretaries now. How the hell is press secretaries a thing?
Hmm.
The politicians should be forced to take media questions. If they can't, they should resign. But they have press secretaries and they have giant media complexes that defend them because they can't actually engage on an intellectual level. So on one level I agree with you because they smart at politics. Like they are smart at like tricking people, playing the game.
Yeah.
and pushing their
Th-
propaganda. But in
There's.
terms of intellectual capability, it's not there. It's all nepotism. Like
Mhm.
the average person who read theory is way smarter than the Harvard graduates who have economic degrees. Let me tell you what a Harvard graduate really is. That is someone who's been propagandized.
Mhm.
Like when you go to elite academia means that's just high level propaganda that you learned. So that's why
Mhm.
you see people from Harvard, they got Harvard degrees, they're hardcore Zionists, they're hardcore trickle down economic advocates. If you
Mhm.
have an economic, I'm gonna pass you, JB.
Mhm.
If you have an economic PhD from Harvard, Yale, but you push trickle down economics, what the fuck is the value of that PhD? I'm literally asking people because if you got your PhD in economics, but that's your philosophy, and that economic philosophy is proven not to work, that means your entire education was trash. And that's what the ruling class come in. That's why you got all these people that's in the corporate media. They come from the same academic background. They have the same worldview.
Mhm.
U.S. exceptionalism. We
Mhm.
can bomb the Palestinian people. We can do regime change. So they're not smarter than you. They just being engrossed in this imperialist propaganda. And you have someone like Dr. Cornel West who speaks about the issue of Israel Palestine, and Harvard couldn't have that. He couldn't get his tenure because he was denied tenure because he stood up for the Palestinian people.
Mhm.
That's why, like elite, like I promise you, like they may have their specialties, but when it comes to like if you having a debate about history, current events, they are stupid because they mostly just brainwashed. What you thought, JB?
Yeah.
But the topic, just so you know, he pretty much asking like they were saying that people not these wrong people in the ruling class are not as dumb as people let them believe. Do you agree with that assessment?
Um, I'm gonna tell you because I'm gonna. This is gonna sound wild as hell. The people who have personalities that are politicians are people the same personality that I have. These people are extremely clever and they can schmooze their way through a room. They're not that smart though. This is why they have all those operatives that work for them to help them out. But a lot of these people are smooth with it. So, in a sense, they are smart because, they can make you think that, they know what they know. But in all honesty, if they got grilled by an RJ, a CJ, a Jackie, a Nick, a Rome, or anyone else, if they got grilled by them or a Richard Meadhurst, they would falter. They would look stupid. Mainstream media is the press secretary for the politicians. So you have Fox News, that's the press secretary for the right. MSNBC is the press secretary for the left. And then CNN just press secretaries floats around.
I like that. I like that. I like the way you say that. I like that.
Yeah.
I never heard that before, but that's really accurate. CNN is the press secretary of the Democratic Party. Go
Mhm.
ahead. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that though.
They are
Like
the.
just like Fox News is the press secretaries of Donald Trump. But go
Mhm.
ahead, Jay.
And so for people to think, oh man, these guys are really, really smart. No, just like what Nick said, they are just respouting the propaganda that they have been told. These Ivy League schools, if they truly were worth their weight in salt, they would actually do substantive things economically that would change the world. But all they are there to keep the status quo. That's the only reason for these Ivy League institutions. They are
There's a great comment that
perceived.
makes an example out of this,
Mhm.
and it said this is a good example. Just back up what you said, and this from David. He said Dr. Wolf graduated from Harvard, and I actually remember him talking about this.
Mhm.
He graduated from Harvard in economics, and he like actually talks about how like Marxist economics was never covered.
Mhm.
Like they don't even discuss it at all,
Mhm.
and they make sure not to. They're never ever going to be another Richard Wolff. And he like how you can there be an entire economics department, but there's no analysis of Marxism. Marxism is just a critique of capitalism. So how can there be no critique of capitalism in an economic like that doesn't make any sense. But sorry, I didn't go. I want
No,
you to
no.
finish your thought, JB.
Yeah. They Harvard, Yale, Brown, all these universities are elite institutions that teach failure. Think about that. They're elite institutions that teach failure. If they're teaching capitalism, if they're teaching that we live in a meritocracy, if they teach that, we need to be Zionist and go against Palestinians, and if they teach that, oh, well, you guys didn't make it because you're just not good enough, they're teaching failure. Because guess what? A lot of those people who are in those schools that are in those classes right now, they're called legacy students, which means if they went there on their own merit, they wouldn't have got in. That means they're
Great
shit.
point.
We're being ran by a bunch of shitty people where their rich parents are going, "Oh, you guys are wonderful. You guys can do anything you want." But the thing is that if left to their own devices, they wouldn't be able to run fuck all. So, yes, they are elite institutions that teach failure. They're teaching failures and they are teaching failure.
You remember that scandal that came out? I don't know what the result. I mean, I know a lot of them got off, but
Oh
where
yeah.
a lot of rich people was paying,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is highly illegal, and
Oh
this
yeah.
shows how racist our criminal justice system is
Hmm.
because there was people that was paying institutions to accept their children, and
Hmm.
they got off for doing that. Meanwhile, there was like a black woman who got 5 years of prison because she put a wrong address in to get her kid in a better school district. But these people was literally like there was like high value bribes to accept their kids into Harvard, and it was a giant scandal that implicated a lot of high level people, including celebrities. So I want you guys to know these are the people who got caught. So what is that 1%?
Hmm.
Like I want to ask people, do you guys think that this is the first time they did it, and they just so happened to get caught? This is the norm, and maybe 1% of the people who did this got caught. So all those like people you see in Harvard, like Trump bought his education. He was open about it. Do you remember school? Maybe I can Google it real quick. I don't know Trump whole biology like a lot of liberals do. But
I'm
he went to somewhere pretty prestigious.
It
I
might
can
have been.
find it pretty quickly.
It might have
You
been Harvard.
let's see, or maybe I'm mistaken.
I
Penn.
know. I know.
Uh,
Obama
He
went
went
to
to
Harvard.
Penn. But anyway, the whole point was that, like there was like Democratic uh, Oppo research done during the Hillary Clinton campaign, and it
Hmm.
was uncovering. The point is, I don't know his whole biography, but the whole point was that he bought his education, and there was political Oppo research that uncovered that. And I remember at the time, like, no shit, you guys really think Wharton Business is that like a elite school? I just see someone in the comments clarified, but I think he went to like some sort of
Yeah.
high end business school that only super smart people can go to.
Yeah.
Do you guys really think Trump is smart enough to go to those schools? Do you really think he's really highly educated? No, he's a rich kid. Rich kids can do when you that rich, you can go whatever the hell you
Hmm.
want to. And these people who got caught doing bribes, those just the morons who got caught. And just another comment that just came in: rich people get fake degrees from colleges. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And these stories always come out. They come out sporadically, like maybe every few months, where there's a college scandal. And I'm like, these are just the people getting caught. Like
Yeah.
this is a epidemic that we can't even really calculate
But
because. Go ahead, Jimmy.
it even begs the question, like, okay, so they're getting caught. Part of me thinks it's the ruling elite sacrificing somebody just so that they can keep doing it in mass. They just want to say, okay, we got one elite person. Because guess what? The people who run these these gigantic media conglomerates, they're doing the same thing. It's just they want to take the heat off of them, so they want to point to some other else who's in the elite circles, just so that you don't notice that they're doing the exact same shit. You know, because I'm pretty sure people like Les Moonves and um, people, oh gosh, what's his name, Rupert Murdoch, did the same shit for their kids.
Hold
Probably.
up, hold up. So I got something else too, but in the comments they was just clarifying for us that yeah, the business school that Trump went to was Ivy League. I don't know I that much about Ivy League, but do you guys really believe that Trump is an Ivy League student? Are you guys kidding me? Like there's, and by the way, I got another example. I saw someone mention in the comments. I missed it, but I went to look it up.
Hmm.
Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor,
Oh god.
he went to Harvard Law School. and yell. Do you guys ever seen Ron DeSantis? He's a moron. Do you guys really believe that Ron DeSantis is a high quality intellectual Harvard Law School, like on his merits? Like, no way. There's
No.
no way.
Ron DeSantis is just
I didn't even
that's
know
Ron
that.
DeSantis.
I saw someone mention that he was like something like that too. I look it up. I did not know he went to Yale and then Harvard Law School in 2015 and 2005. I mean, there's no like. Do people really believe this is a meritocracy? There's no. I know brothers way smarter than that who never had the opportunity to go to Yale.
Mhm.
Ron DeSantis is a dumbass, like straight up. There's no way you can convince me that he went to high school, worked really hard, and he just got into Yale. No way. And see, everyone, the comments know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I don't got like videos of Ron DeSantis saved for you guys, but
Mhm.
look, if you think Ron DeSantis is smart, look up his last interview. Like everything he says is strictly coached because he cannot do anything on the fly.
Mhm.
And then whenever he does do anything on the fly, it like reveals himself.
Mhm.
And that was the thing during the COVID press conference, and that's crazy because the people who thought the Republican Party, because this is there was something that Joe Biden was saying that
Mhm.
post Trump they would have an epiphany.
Mhm.
Like Ron DeSantis apparently is like rising in stardom now, and maybe one of the top Republican candidates in 2024. And I remember when the people was talking about that like months ago. I'm like, no way. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I think I saw the story along. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Mhm.
But it said Ron DeSantis, one of the most popular Republicans. They did like a straw poll. Yeah, this is from AP News. And there's multiple stories that covering this. This is the first one I see. It says, as pandemic wanes, Florida's DeSantis seizes national stage. So this is pretty much just AP's take on that same story that everyone else is reporting. He's one of the most popular Republicans right now. And do you guys think Ron DeSantis is better than Trump? No. This has always been my point. My point, like I didn't have Trump derangement syndrome because Trump was one of many. And the con that the Democratic Party was able to pull off was convincing people that Trump was just like a special freak show occasion, like a admiralty or whatever. Like like he was like, oh, this Trump, he's just beyond the pale. No, Trump, he was friends with the Clintons. He blended in, he fit in with elite circles because he had the same values as them. Because he lived the same lifestyles. And Ivanka Trump and Chelsea Clinton are longtime friends. They went
Mhm.
to each other's weddings. So they're friends for a reason because they had the same lifestyle, they had the same values. Even Michelle Obama said, "Oh, at the end of the day, us and the Bush family, we had the same values." No shit. That's why Obama was bombing countries just like George Bush did. This is why Trump Anderson didn't work on me because it's like, bro, you're not going to convince me that Hillary Clinton is better than Trump. The person who ran an insanely corrupt Clinton Foundation that was taking foreign bribes from Saudi Arabia and from China, and they was using that to dictate policy. They like Narratan was a big part of that. Narratan was literally pushing for neoliberal Japanese foreign policy because she took a donation from Shinzo Abe and the neoliberal Japanese party. Like they took foreign money and they dictated their foreign policy. Like that is as corrupt as it gets. They enrich themselves, you and the Clinton. And then, I mean, and then you got Joe Biden, who his family enriched themselves. So these are the same thing that Trump has done.
Mhm.
But the difference was the media covered what Trump did. So Joe Biden, his entire career, his family enriched themselves. There's an entire article that lay out how every single member of Joe Biden's family enriched themselves because of Joe Biden's by the Senate.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, those stories were never written before Donald Trump. That story was written because someone was trying to prove how Biden was just like Trump. But before that, they never did those exposés like, yo, politicians are making money, their family are openly corrupt. They did that when Trump got in charge, and people thought that was new.
Mhm.
Like the people thought it was like, oh, this is a new thing. Like this guy got in office and his family is taking advantage of it because this is the first time the news media is reporting on it.
Mhm. I want to answer this question. Um, this is by Marco Crow. He said, "I disagree with the term lesser evil, and it needs to be abolished. Why is that so complicated for people?" The reason why it's so complicated The people don't realize evil is evil because they've been subject to evil for so long that anything that's slightly less just feels better. It's like constantly being in pain. When the pain kind of goes down, you feel a little bit better. And so this is one of the reasons why people choose the lesser of two evils. But the thing is that what good is it having the knife going in 6 inches, but they only pull it out 2 inches? And we're sick and tired of it. I think I just quoted Malcolm X on that one, but that's basically what it is. And so this whole lesser of two evils, we're now realizing how bullshit it is, thanks to the internet as well, being able to communicate with each other and as well as being able to learn more. So I think this takes time for people to realize that the lesser of two evils is still evil. And I think in a matter of time, hopefully, we'll start choosing the greater of two goods. So, what's your thoughts on that, Nick? You're muted.
Okay, I was playing. My bad. I was playing in great detail.
Hmm.
Why I think lesser of two evils is BS. With we talked about with Jimmy Dore. Also mentioned with Cornel West, because this is actually one of the things that me and Cornel West has a slight disagreement on.
Hmm.
At the end, I think people should vote against their oppressor and who they deem their oppressor to be. But if you're one of the people that think black people should vote for their oppressor, vote for Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, that's done insane amount of damage to the black community, you're not just a lesser of two evil advocate. You are a path and an obstacle towards our political liberation, right? Because you're the same people that are telling black people they have to vote for the Democrat Party, and then that's why the Democrat Party doesn't come out with a black agenda. That's why they
Hmm.
don't do anything to help the black people out, because they know the black people are going to vote for them.
Yep.
And I'm like, I want people to explain why I'm wrong here, and people don't. They just get mad at me because I'm saying, like, all right, I ask people, if you disagree with me on voting, what is your plan to give black people a voice on the national stage?
Hmm.
They're never able to answer that question. Because what I propose, it sounds unrealistic because it's not the case because of propaganda. But if I had my way, things would be in a much better position.
Hmm.
So imagine this situation right now. If the Green Party hit 5%, I use the Green Party just as an example. Why did I use them as an example? Because they support reparations.
Hmm.
There's a lot of black people like, oh, we need politicians that support reparations. The Green Party have reparations on their platform, and you guys didn't vote for them? So it's either you for reparations or shut the fuck up. Because there are a lot of people that always want a virtue signal. Oh, I'm for reparations. Oh, what? And then you guys had a chance to vote for it and you backed out because you had Trump derangement syndrome. So that's why I use the Green Party. But it could be
Hmm.
any party, for example. But they're the best ones.
Hmm.
So if black people got the Green Party to 5 to 8% of the vote, maybe 5%,
I think it's five. Yeah.
5%. I'm trying to see what would be even close to reasonable. And then they look into that vote tally. Let's say the Green Party get 8%. They look into that vote tally and they see, like, damn, like 80% of the voters are 80% of the Green Party votes are black people. What the hell? And
Hmm.
then let's say in a race, a Democrat runs against a Republican and they lose by the margins in which the Green Party got. That means the Democratic Party strategists and anyone who wants to win will look at the data, because this is what they do. They look at voter data to make their decision. They don't care about how you feel. They care about voter data. So if they lose by the percentage of the black vote, that means a smart candidate be like, okay, we got to peel those voters away. So if Green Party get 5% in a hypothetical situation, Hillary Clinton loses to Donald Trump by 5% or by 4%. Then the next candidate was like, okay, we got to get those black voters. That's how you leverage your vote. Now, I say this is not likely to happen because we've been conditioned by propaganda and by the black liberal establishment that I despise. We got to vote for the Democratic Party. So it's not going to happen. That's why we started the show, so we can create the steps to making that happen. So
Hmm.
we can start educating people that when you vote green, you're not wasting your vote, because when Green Party get 5%, they get federal funding. I posted that on Twitter, and yeah, you guys realize whenever I post that, I get people like, yo, I didn't even know that. I thought if you vote third party, you're wasting your vote the whole time. So it's literally people are not voting for third party because they don't even know the basics of how our democracy works.
Hmm. But
So
here,
what
and here's
instead of go ahead.
But here's the funny thing: whenever you talk about Green Party, nobody wants to pay fucking attention because they're so focused on the lesser of two evils that they don't even pay attention to when somebody actually does do it about the Green Party. And trust me, I know this because I've posted about the Green Party, and I get no likes and no views on my tweets. But then the moment I start talking about something else, it goes up. So it's like, are people really paying attention?
You know what I hear a lot? And thing is, like, if you guys had legitimate criticism of the party, I'm not even mad at you. There are legitimate criticism of the Green Party.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what drives me crazy? When people are like, you know what? I would have voted Green, but I didn't like Howie Hawkins. Oh, excuse me. I thought we was policy-based voters.
Exactly.
Do you guys see the Green Party platform? Do you guys need me to pull it up? Double Social Security, cutting the military budget by 70%, reparations, freeing Palestine. Like, this is, how can you be a leftist and you say you policy-based voting, but you're not vote for this platform? So if you say you don't vote for the Green Party because you didn't like Howie Hawkins, so it is about political personalities to you, whether you believe it or not. So, to be 100% clear, guys, I didn't like Howie Hawkins.
Me neither.
Like, I mean, as a politician, I didn't think he was a good politician because Howie Hawkins, he was chosen, which is another criticism of the Green Party. The criticism is they should have a more open process, allow more competition. But Howie Hawkins, he got in a position because he was one of the original authors of the Green New Deal. Mm-hmm. You know, the thing that the LC and the squad stolen without giving them credit for? He was on that. So he put in the work for the movement. So I'm like, all right, I don't dislike him. He's just not a good politician. So the people were like, I won't vote for Howie Hawkins because he's boring. So you denying a good platform because of personality, just like a liberal. So yeah, I had issues with Howie Hawkins, and I had some issues with the Green Party at the time. Mm-hmm. But why wouldn't we take the strategy of taking over the Green Party the same way we had the strategy of taking over the Democrat Party? People push a ridiculous notion that we can take over the Democrat Party, but we can't take over the Green Party. And by the way, I talked to Green Party organizers. They like, yeah, we want people to come to take us over. They said we was over. I had like the Howie Hawkins campaign reached out to me at the time. We didn't make the interview work out, but I talked to like a lot of people in there. They're like, we want you guys to come in and help us get more support and help us increase. Or that's why they had a great platform. They added reparations on their platform because they heard from the Black community. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, you guys want to take over the Democrat Party who's not listening to anybody. So yeah, the Green Party had their problems, but that's way more realistic for us to take that over than the Democrat Party.
And can we just say this? I'd rather have a boring dude like Howie Hawkins than have a person that's accused of rape as the presidential candidate.
Yeah.
It's like, absolutely. Okay, so he's boring. Good. That's the problem that we have right now. I don't want to be entertained by the president. Right. I just want good policies from him. Why are boring? And by the way, have you guys even heard the VP candidate Angela Walker speak? Brilliant. She's brilliant, and she's just like us. I think she was a truck driver. I think, if I'm correct. So she is us. And he was a truck driver. He is us.
That's who I voted for. I considered that's why it was easy to me to make that decision, because I was like, I'm voting for Angela Walker. Yeah. People like, I didn't like Howie Hawkins. I'm like, all right, vote for Angela Walker then.
Vote for Angela Walker then.
Because I don't know anyone who had it. I talked to a lot of people. A lot of people like Angela Walker. I know a lot of people that didn't like Howie Hawkins, but I don't know anyone who was like, I don't like Angela Walker. No one like Angela Walker from where I came from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, Angela was a driver. Thank you. Yeah.
Cal Smith says, what's your views on People's Party? They're another organization that's starting out. People don't even understand that they haven't filled candidates yet. But the same thing, because there's been people that had issue with the People's Party because they have not come out as a socialist party. And Ryan Knight left the People's Party because Ryan Knight said he want to challenge the Democrat Party from a socialist point of view. Mm-hmm. So that's a legitimate criticism. Mm-hmm. But thing on the People's Party, if you support the right policies, I'll support you. So when someone asked us this question earlier, what political parties do you support? Despite everything you heard, I don't support political parties. I support platforms. So if you have someone who's running for the People's Party who don't support reparations, who don't support a living wage, who don't support Medicare for all, because that's the fear. Because the fear I heard from people with MPP is they don't have like a black agenda, and they don't have like a socialist agenda because they're trying to appeal too broadly. So if there's someone who's trying to appeal too broadly, I'm not gonna really be that interested in that candidate. But if there's someone who is supporting of Medicare for all, that I call the most pro-black policy. If someone's supportive of like halting like these deportations, supporting Israel, Palestine, free and Julian Assange, go down the list. I got so many things I can go all day on it. But if you're supporting the right things, I don't care what party you're in. If you're a Green Party candidate, you run in Kansas City, I'll support you. If you're a People Party candidate, you run in Kansas City, I will support you. It's all about the policy platform. And there should never be a scenario where it's NPP versus Green Party. Like that should never be a thing. So there was a thing where people were trying to make it a competition where it was like there was NPP people who didn't like the Green Party. There were people in the Green Party that didn't like NPP, so they were smearing each other. And I'm like, okay, you guys are losing. Both of you guys are losing me. So what you guys should be doing, I want to get your thoughts on this, JB, as well, is you guys should be using both your organizations to uplift grassroots leftist movements, meaning what's stopping the Green Party and the NPP from getting together and doing things like stop the force the vote? You know, the NPP, they had Occupy Congress to put pressure on Congress people to get stimulus checks. So you could have the NPP and the Green Party work together as a coalition to get mutual aid to people, to put pressure on politicians. And then when it comes to electoralism, they communicate. When they be like, okay, you think your candidate got a better chance of winning this district? Okay, we run the Greens over here. We run a People Party candidate in this area because they got a better chance. Like there should never be a competition. And one thing about the People Party, honestly, kind of turned me off is when I saw the People Party, it was like constantly sniping the Green Party. So I'm like, okay, now I feel like it's an ego thing. Now I feel like it's just you trying to prop your group up over the other group, even though it's a potential for both of you guys to do good work. What's your thoughts, JB?
Yeah, and plus the MPP wasn't going to start running candidates until 2022 and 2024. So why are you nipping at the Green Party heels? So that doesn't make any sense. And to back up your point about the platform, I am with whoever is going to fight for it. I don't care. Yeah. You can talk about Medicare for all and Green New Deal and all this other stuff, and you can say, I'm for it all. But until I see you knocking at the politician's door, until I see you start to throw some of the people who are Democrats and Republicans under the bus, I don't even care if they're part of the squad. Throw them under the bus when it comes to supporting certain policies. Do it. Call out names, name, shame, whatever you have to do. Call press conferences, all that. Until you're willing to do that, until you're willing to actually only serve one term just to get shit done, that's when I will support you. You can talk the game all you want. You can sound like Nina Turner all you want. But until I actually see you fight for something, I'm not supporting you, because there's so many people who go out there and say, I support this, I support that. And guess what? When they get in there, they shut up. That's not what I want. I want somebody who's willing to risk to lose their seat for the right thing. That's what we want. Because guess what? If you're willing to lose it for the right thing, then guess what? We're going to back you up and we're going to make sure you stay there. That's people power. And the thing is we keep allowing these players to come in and play us and say, oh, we support this. No, put your money where your mouth is. Put our money where your mouth is. Okay. If we're going to support you, you better do the right job, because if not, you're allowing us to be killed by neglect. It's stupid.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm like, they better.
Yeah. One last thing on the issue of third parties, because I've been reading the comments and all of the like concerns that you guys have on the Green Party, like the concern I have with Hal Hawkins, he was a little bit of a Russiagator. He wasn't as strong as foreign policy as Jill Stein was. Jill Stein was amazing. And there was and then I saw another comment that said that there was a few Green Party members that said they want to work with the squad, and they said they didn't like that because it seemed like they want to work with the Democratic Party too much. And I feel like, and there's a few other that kind of had the same theme, but there's a comment by Marco Crow, and this is literally what I just said, right? And he said, I've been to Green Party meetings. They actively want people to join the party and take it over.
Mm.
Unlike the Democratic Party, who's like will do everything they can to stop you. They'll fight you harder than the Republicans if you try to take them over because it's a money grip. So so all your criticism is legitimate. But personally, as a party without power, and this goes for MPP as well, I don't see that as a reason to not support them because there's still opportunity to help and make them better in their opportunity. So all the criticisms are legit. But what's stopping you from joining your local Green Party hub and like, all right, this local Green Party is not going to be about that. Because I talk to people, a lot of people in the Green Party is local too. Because I remember the Green Party got in a lot of trouble because there was a local Green Party in Alabama that was ran by a turf. And liberals, because they're smarter than we think, they picked up on that and they used that to smear the Green Party. And a lot of leftists picked up on it. Like, the Green Party is the party of turfs. But they didn't pick up, and people don't know, that's trans exclusionary radical feminists. The feminists who are against trans people, by the way. They had someone who led a Green faction now, apparently a turf in Alabama. But the thing is, the Green Party is very local compartmentalized. So there were a lot of Green Party members that a lot of people didn't do the follow-up. There were a lot of Green Party members who disavowed them. They were like, oh, okay. So like they give you a lot of flexibility to organize your own way in local. Unfortunately, that one hub was horrible, right? It was ran by a turf. But you can have your own local hub. I know they got Kansas City Green Hub, and you can make it as you deem fit. Do you think the Green Party should be? And then as you guys grow, you can bring up national. That's the path that people think is available for a Democrat Party, but that doesn't exist. It's more realistic to do that for the Green Party or the MPP, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I want to do this. I want to cover this last thing because I actually wanted to show this to Dor, but we could talk about Dor too. We could talk so many things about Dor. There's no way I could fit everything in because Peter. He leaves great comments in here. He actually commented this earlier. It's very, very funny stuff. He said pretty much the Joe Biden administration in the 11th term of Ronald Reagan. Mm-hmm. And my question is, where to lie? And the corporate media is so bad. A lot of people don't know how horrible Joe Biden's record is. And this headline, and I'm not BSing you guys. This headline by The Onion. The Onion has been killing it recently. Mm-hmm. Like The Onion is probably better when a Democrat is in charge because The Onion admitted that they had a hard time coming up with content under Trump because things were so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But now they have Democrats. They've been on fire recently, and I want to share this. I was gonna share this and get a door star on it, but I think it's brilliant. It said Biden to continue unpopular Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan, Carter, Ford, Nixon era policy. That's brilliant. I love that. Because that's neoliberalism in a nutshell. The people who think things change between presidents, unbelievably childish. Like the same war is going to go on. They're going to have the same goals for the U.S. empire, no matter what. You have the same businesses that prop up. You guys think there's like another interest that they're listening to other than Wall Street, other than the military industrial complex, other than the prison industrial complex? That's why nothing changes. That's why I was telling you guys before the election, if you guys think Joe Biden is going to be any different than Donald Trump, you're out of your mind. Now people are like, oh my God, cannot believe that Biden is governing just like Trump. Like, bro, it was obvious. But I just want to share that because I get going here soon. But this is a good, lighthearted way to end my segment of the stream here because I think that's on the money. I want to get your thoughts on that, JB, and because that's on point. Like that's post satire because Onion supposed to be satire, but that's the accurate headline. Yeah, that's how bad things are. But I thought that was funny. I wanted to get Dorsey on it, but we didn't have time. I love the headline. And check out The Onion, man. They've been really, really good. Like, they satire, but are they? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they really satire? There's another one. Since I have my search already pulled up. There was one more that was really good. Damn. Oh, this one from July 2020. It's like this one. There's another. Actually, I got two good ones right here. I'll show you the last two, and I'm done with this. Because I'm showing you guys that modern neoliberalism is very easy to mock, and it's really easy to see through. Mm-hmm. This is the older one. This is from July last year. It said Barack Obama storms out of Michelle Obama podcast interview after questions about administration drone use. Mm-hmm. Like, when did you see any like real media like bring up Obama drone use and joke about it like that? That's the older one, but check this one out. This is the last one I want to share. Oh no, sorry. That's actually a real thing. Anyway, they ain't been fired. I ain't been fired recently. There's another one. I can't find it. I was trying to find the. Oh well, but they've been killing. This is another one. The last good one. Biden unveils cool Team Migrant Detainment Center where youths can hang out and never leave. So That's what we need. We need more like adversarial. Like I could go through all the maybe we have a stream where we go through some onion headlines, but there's so many good ones of
Yeah,
them like just destroying by. There's one I was thinking about. I can't find immediately. Damn, it was really good.
yeah.
There was, but anyway, it's good stuff. You gotta check out Onion. It does a
Yeah,
good job exposing
yeah.
their
I
hypocrisy.
I just want to give a thank you to an unverified user. They donated, some money to us, so that very much appreciated.
Yeah, we
Also,
appreciate that.
yeah, just make sure to go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/ Fred Hampton Leftists, and just go ahead and go there. If you guys want to give some support, and be sure to like and subscribe. Um, Let me see. Uh, so as far as the People's Party is concerned, there are a lot of people that have different concerns. Uh, no party is perfect, and there definitely has some things that need to be worked out. But when it comes to comparing them to Democrats and Republicans, it's like what are you? Why are we going to chop ourselves off at the knees for you know for somebody like who's kind of boring but their policies are amazing, or just because there's some hiccups that's going on. Now if there's some serious issues, then yeah, those should be brought to light, but it's ultimately about the policies, not even the candidates. It's about the policies and what they're willing to fight for ultimately. um Let me see here. It says present on screen.
We get this a lot. Like we gonna get this squared off pretty soon when people ask about like donations, super chats. We
Hmm.
don't have super chats set up. We're still a new organization, and we feeling we got a lot of things to handle before we do that. But our Patreon, I'll put the link in the description. Patreon, Fred Hampton Leftist. That's probably the best way to directly support us. You guys always can support us individually or
Hmm.
support us via Patreon. And when I say individual, I mean support Rome's, Tor, JB's, GoFundMe. That's how you support the channel. I'm a freelance writer, so like any support that goes to progressive martial artists, Substack, like
Hmm.
all these are staying until Fred Hampton Let This Go. So until we get super chat, you guys gotta get a little bit creative, but Patreon is like the best way to do it right now, honestly. And if
Hmm.
we're gonna be on Rofkin, I don't know if I would say that right. Rofkin, we're gonna be
Rock,
on there, so
Rockman.
that's another way you can support us through tips when we got that set up. But for now, Patreon or support us individually. Like if you like the JB show, support JB. Like if you like the Jackie show, you can donate to Jackie. If you like
Hmm.
RJ show, donate to RJ because that's how like that helps us keep going. So thank you guys for your support. I going. Anyway, it was like good to talk to you guys, and we got shows every day. We upload every day, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and all that. So
Hmm.
I appreciate any support and all the new viewers that we got that stuck with us from Jimmy Dore. So thank
Yeah,
all you guys for watching.
yeah. Do you have anything coming up on the docket next
Oh yeah,
for the
we
show?
I have a busy week. So um I may have to be doing some moving around. Actually, I'm gonna have a round. I think I'm gonna do a round table because we got
Okay.
Sabrina Sabbs.
Ooh.
RJ is talking to her. I think today. They're doing live maybe in an hour or so. Actually, check out Sabrina Sabbs because now I think about I think she's going live with RJ today and around this time. So after this ends, check out Sabrina Sabbs channel. But
Hmm.
she will be on our show as well. I'm gonna have a roundtable, and then we'd have Ashar Raw. She had a PhD in Middle Eastern history. We're gonna discuss the history of the U.S. and Iran conflict. She also and she specialized in Iran, but I follow her Twitter. She's amazing
Hmm.
on foreign policy in general. Like I see she does a good job talking about Israel Palestine. So our discussion is gonna be a really foreign policy based discussion. I'm looking forward to it. She's someone I got a lot of respect for on Twitter. and we finally gonna get that done. Also, like my conversation with Fred Hampton Jr. is in the works. They're gonna happen very soon. It was gonna happen this weekend, but Anthony Clark got tied up into some things, and also yeah, I see, and I also gonna plug Jackie. So I see Jackie in the chat almost getting me canceled.
Okay.
Nerdologics, right? I always
Yeah.
struggle saying that. That Jackie show that airs tomorrow.
Yeah.
They talk about all the stuff I like. I'm a giant nerd, so they talk about movies and they tie it to culture and politics.
Hmm.
I love nerdy stuff, but I'm not good at doing that. Like if I watch the X-Men, like, all right, I'm gonna just watch the X-Men. But anyway, they do a good job at like tying that stuff together. So check them out. Couldn't find the Richard Wolf video. I got ask Jackie about that because she did that interview. And I'm stalling because I'm trying to think what else. I got a lot of things working. I'm trying to see what else is going on this week. But anyway, the point is hit the bell. Cause we got a lot of shows we're doing every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having me on, Jay. Anything else
Yeah.
that you have going on?
Actually, next week I will be interviewing Michael Tunivasa, also known as the non-voting felon.
Oh, I like your
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, we will be discussing the Samoan election with him, and that's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to get into that with him. And also, I also kind of want to touch on how people who are victims of the criminal justice system, how they're treated here in the United States. And one of the things I want to do is I want to put a real face, and I want to put, actual facts that are on the ground in front of people to realize what people who are going through. I myself know and have family members that have been victims of the criminal justice system in the United States. So I want to interview someone who is a leftist just like me, who sees it from a left perspective as also as a person of color. So I definitely want you guys to tune in. We're going to be live at 1, and I promise we'll be live at 1 next week. And I want you guys to tune into that. And I want you guys, if you guys have anybody that has also been victims of the criminal justice system, tune into that as well. And anybody who is that that's a police officer, that's a corrections officer, somebody that that's on the right, bring them too. Share it with them because this may be very revealing. Because I would like for them to see how damaging it is and how we need to change the system completely.
I have one more. I knew like I was like killing myself. I knew I was forgetting something. But I'm also interviewing Cherry Honkala. I always say her last name wrong, but she was the 2012 Green Party presidential candidate, and she works on Poor People's Army. Like she does a lot of mutual aid events for poor people. So we're gonna
Nice.
discuss that as well, doing a lot of discussion on mutual aid. And I wasn't too familiar with her, but I saw her work working for the Poor People's Army. And I'm like, and the funny thing, I was like, I looked into it, I was like, oh, I didn't even know she was the 2012 Green Party VP candidate. Anyway, so that's gonna be cool. Conversation to have. We aiming for Wednesday. So that's gonna our conversation with that on Wednesday. Our foreign policy roundtable is gonna be on Tuesday. I also have my conversation with Sabrina Stabs on Tuesday as well.
Hmm.
Tuesday gonna be a pretty busy day.
Hmm.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm out.
Hmm.
Thank you for having me on, JB.
Yeah, thanks. And to anybody else, please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Go to our Patreon on patreon.com/ Fred Hampton Leftists. And also be sure to make sure to catch us on our Thursday live roundtable that we have every single Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just want to say thank you to everyone and all of you. You guys have you guys have been amazing. And I would like to thank you all for joining me today on this Sunday live stream. You guys have yourself a wonderful day.